Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today, Disney is back with a historical look at one of my most favourite films from Disney of all time. This film is Mulan, which is based on the Ballad of Mulan, which is a poem based on the myth and legend of Mulan, a fighter who disguises herself to join the army to protect her father. Very similar to the Disney film, but what was different was she didn't struggle at all with keeping up with the men, but Disney's Mulan did. So today, I'll be exploring why that actually makes sense. Now, initially when I was watching Mulan, I did have a problem with the fact that she was struggling to keep up with her male counterparts, mainly just because it had that very sort of sexist ideal of women can't compete with men. Obviously she does eventually, through training and building up her stamina and so forth, she's able to surpass and come up to the same level as the majority of the men in the army. But after exploring the original story of the Ballad of Mulan, I started to notice that there were some real differences between the two stories. Of course, Disney's Mulan was Disneyfied. It was made to be more of a coming-of-age story, more of a dramatic tale with music and all of that Disney malarkey, whereas the Ballad of Mulan was very different in its portrayal of the Mulan character. Not only was she a strong female character overall, but her family were aware that she was going away to the army to take place in it. They were aware what she was doing, and eventually, after the soldiers found out she was a woman, they had absolutely no problem whatsoever with that fact. In fact, they embraced it. They were shocked that she was a woman, mainly just because they didn't realise and were impressed with her skill. But the other thing was that she was able to hold her own throughout the entirety of training and the entirety of the war. She was able to keep up with the men, she was able to show extreme skill in martial arts and sword fighting and so on and so forth. But obviously, from what we know from Mulan, she struggled severely to keep up with her peers, failing at most hurdles with only her determination keeping her going. And this is where the historical side comes in. Now, I absolutely love my history, and I did so much research for this to try and figure out and explain and understand why this was the case for Disney's Mulan to be struggling. And this is where I stumbled upon the history that is behind the story already, so where the Ballad of Mulan is placed and when, and that is the Northern Wei dynasty. So let's explore a bit more about this dynasty. The Ballad of Mulan, and in turn Disney's Mulan, is set during the Wei dynasty. During the Wei dynasty, after the Wars of Conquest, there was unused land that the Weis aimed to reclaim through a large-scale deportation of peasants. The peasants reclaimed this land, using it for agriculture and owning their own properties, something often pertained to the upper class. It's through learning this and studying the location of the Far's family home and what inhabits it that I came to the conclusion that the Far family is in fact upper class. It was from understanding this that my theory made a breakthrough. In ancient China, upper class women received the stricter forms of control than any other social level. They were expected to remain within the family home, had only limited freedom of movement, and meant to excel in 4 areas: fidelity, cautious speech, industriousness, and graceful manners. Sound familiar? This was part of the matchmaker's scene, another part that was predominantly used within upper class society. It is here that the differences between Disney's Mulan and the Ballad of Mulan come into focus. Now, with Mulan being in an upper class society, and from what we can tell from the ballad, Hua Mulan is more of a working class peasant sort of level, with her being the provider for her family. Her father is sick, she has a younger brother who she has to look after. She is the one who is sort of almost the leader of the family because she has to provide for them. She has to do things that normally in that society wouldn't be being done by a woman, especially a woman if she was in the upper class society. But because she is able to do this, we can assume that she would have been of a much lower social standing. So she would have had the freedom to do these things like looking after her family, being able to provide for them, and having almost the support to go to war. And we can see this also in the live action Chinese film Mulan Rise of a Warrior. Her family friend Tiger is aware of what she is doing, and while he worries what may happen if she is discovered, he knew she was likely to do this. He knew what she was like, and so he promises to help her. This shows a complete difference in the films. This Mulan is strong and respected instantly, even after they learn she is a woman. While when the Mulan we know is discovered, she's not. She's called a treacherous snake, and if it weren't for the fact that she saved Shang, she would have been killed for her supposed crimes. Only after proving herself again, while as a woman, does she receive the honour she deserved. It is in comparing Mulan from Disney's upper class standing to that of Hua Mulan from the ballad's standing of much lower, possibly peasant-like social standing, and seeing the freedom that Hua Mulan had in comparison to Fa Mulan, it would make sense that their different army-like training would be that different, because Fa Mulan does not have the freedom to learn and have these skills before training like Hua Mulan does. And it's because of this that Fa Mulan's struggles do make sense in Disney. But what do you guys think? Do you think this idea of the social standing between these two characters makes sense to why Mulan would have struggled, or do you yourself have another idea? Let me know in the comment section down below. But in general, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you'll find the links to all the clips in this video, and you'll also find the links to my Instagram and Patreon, where on Patreon you can get early access to any and all of my videos, as well as have a say as to what comes out in future. Here on YouTube, however, if you guys aren't already subscribed, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out any of my previous Disney videos, the playlist will be popping up here, and then something else for you lovely folks will be popping up here. But again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.